This is a Hot Pie Original.
So the Tim Tebow freak out has started. And I was thinking about this as I'm sort of taking in the freak out yesterday afternoon and realizing, God, there's a lot of people that are wondering what is the big deal, because there's such a separation between Tim Tebow coming into the NFL, that giant freak out, the hijacking, I would call it. And then today, I mean, it's a long time in between his first entrance into the NFL and now. So there's probably a lot of people going, what is the deal? Who cares? All right, so let me put this in perspective and prepare you for what's coming. I guess when I mentioned the freak out was on its way a few days ago, I was a little bit ahead of the curve. He's now he's signed a contract, a one-year contract in Jacksonville, and he's number 85. So I think I was ahead of this a little bit. Prepare yourself for a few things. First, as kind of a primer for the entire story, here's the context. Tim Tebow was a Heisman Trophy winner in college. Fantastic college player that won a couple national championships. He was hijacked. I'll use the term, and I did use the term a few years ago, and man, did it go over well on talk radio. He was hijacked by the Christian right. Tim Tebow was deeply religious. He doesn't hide that, which is fine. I say hijacked because I don't really get that Tim Tebow has ever been at fault for being the icon that he is. I'm not. I'm going to defend him in that way, that I don't think he chased it. He's not bashful about sharing his beliefs. He never was. He was hijacked, in my opinion. So he was hijacked in a game, about a game, a business that is mostly about young black men. This was the Christian right's Colin Kaepernick. I know it's weird to compare the two, but it's the same kind of, there's an icon. So his college coach, he won he won the Heisman Trophy, won a couple national championships under his college coach, Urban Meyer, who was now the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the pitiful Jacksonville Jaguars. So the football part of this is pretty much lost on everyone, particularly those that have hijacked Tim Tebow. The football part of Tim Tebow, the storyline of the football part of Tim Tebow was lost a long time ago. So that's not changing. He's nothing more than part of a culture war to a lot of people in this country. And it's going to be interesting to see if he is hijacked again. I don't know that they're going to have time to hijack him, but the intent is going to be there. So prepare yourself for this. Now, you understand that I use the term hijack because he was hijacked as an icon. It was the perfect opportunity, my opinion then and my opinion now, for a lot of white people in the South, the Christian right, to say, here's our guy to push back against a sport of young black men. That's my opinion, and I'll go with it. Prepare yourself for, and this is mostly a media thing, for the comparisons to Colin Kaepernick. And here's the way that one's going to play out, because I believe that Colin Kaepernick was hijacked as well, and still hijacked, and is going to be hijacked. The two of them are going to end up front and center again. And neither one of them matter very much at all. So I think it's slightly understandable that this narrative is going to play out. The narrative comes from people who think Colin Kaepernick was blackballed. Tim Tebow getting invited back into the NFL is going to be a perfect recipe for people to say, see how it is, white guys? Kaepernick is blackballed, but you bring that guy back. Right. It's an understandable comparison. I think it's a stretch, but it's an understandable comparison. So here's the way this goes, and I don't agree with the position. The argument goes like this. Tebow is an over-the-hill and not a very good player, but he gets another chance. Kaepernick, the face of a controversial crusade and the face of getting Donald Trump and a few Southern politicians elected or reelected, is still not sniffing an NFL roster. He's not even in the building. He's not even trying out for NFL teams. So the narrative is going to be, and you can just sort of watch it play out, and you may want to do it yourself, but the narrative is they want the rich white owners want Colin Kaepernick out of the game, but they want Tim Tebow back. They blackballed Colin Kaepernick, but they want to bring back the guy who's the darling of the Christian right. That's the narrative, and it seems like it works pretty well, except when you factor in that neither one of them is any good, that they don't matter that much. So it's true that Kaepernick is not even getting a tryout. What people gloss over is that, one, yes, he was a controversial player. Yes, the league is run by old white men. Yes, an owner would prefer not to have Kaepernick. What you're forgetting is he wasn't very good. You're forgetting the Ward rule. A headless body can be in the car, and if you're good enough, you play. If you're not very good and there's a circus around you, who wants you? Unless you're Urban Meyer and you want Tim Tebow. Hey, I'm here with John McClellan, the creator and founder of ATX Hot Sauce. And when I say that you started this, maybe not screwing around in your kitchen, but maybe not that far removed from screwing around in your kitchen. So talk about the creation, the process, the dream that came out of the pandemic.
It's from Austin, from Texas. There's not a lot of hot sauces out there that are actually from here. There's a few great ones too, but Frank's and Tabasco and some of these other ones, I want something that's Texan like me. It's different. And I think that's what Texas is a little bit about. That's what Austin's about. So that flavor first without the vinegar, and then going into the heat after that, but not a blow your head off heat. If you notice, a lot of the hot sauces out there that you see are like Da Bomb or Death's Door, right? Yeah. And they're just supposed to blow your head off when you do it, when you taste it. Well, that's not the kind of hot sauce that I'm making. I'm making a hot sauce for the everyday person, for the condiment for every single day. And that's why the flavor first, heat second is so important, that you get those flavors, the nuances, whatever food that you're making.
All right, order a box now. It's atxhotsauce.com, atxhotsauce.com. So I don't buy it. I mean, the Kaepernick success was a one-off. Yes, he went to a Super Bowl, but he had already lost his job. What people don't remember is he lost his job. He was benched before he started kneeling, before he started his crusade, which, by the way, I've always defended him. He owned it. In some weird way, these two players, hijacked by a lot of people, really own who they are. I don't blame either one of them. I think both of them have been pretty upfront and pretty honest from day one. It's not their fault that the rest of us have hijacked them for a cause when the two of them really don't matter as football players. So Kaepernick was a non-factor before he started kneeling. What people also don't want to recognize is Colin Kaepernick sued the NFL and sued the NFL owners in a collusion case. Now, collusion, of course, doesn't mean that all owners have to get together to say, we won't hire you. You just have to prove that some of them did. Well, the NFL, knowing they didn't want the optics of Colin Kaepernick sitting there in videotape testimony, he settled. He settled to go away. So he got paid. My original partnering of both Kaepernick and Tebow was despised. Trust me, the letters that would arrive 5 days later, handwritten out of some old lady from Llano saying, you suck, hate you, that kind of stuff. People flipped out when I compared the two. And I'm going to compare the two again. You're hijacking some irrelevant football players. You really are. The Billy Joes and Freddie Joes that used to call me and go nuts when I connected the two. Here goes my argument. Neither was helpful enough to justify the circus that surrounds bringing them in. That's the question mark with Tim Tebow right now. Why are you doing this? Neither one of them is good enough. They don't matter enough. I don't need a fifth string tight end or a fourth string quarterback who's going to cause a circus. I don't need you. I don't need you, period. Trust me, in the business of professional football, there are plenty of guys who can carry a clipboard. There are plenty of guys that can run around and smash their head into a wall and cover a kick. You know what I don't need? I don't need that guy who's probably only going to last a few games on my roster, or at best a year or two. I don't need that guy far down my roster just getting a paycheck. I don't need that guy as a circus. I wouldn't hire either one of them either. It's not worth it. They're not that good. I'll put up with a circus. I'll put up with controversy. I'll put up with a lot. if you can help me win. Neither does that. So in that regard, it is interesting to bring Tebow back. There is a circus already. It's not nearly the circus it was a few years ago. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think to a degree it's worth the risk. He's a good athlete. He's only 33. What the heck? But understand, the two of them in their prime, it's the same storyline. You're not good enough to justify the craziness that comes with you, the hijacking, the everyday news conference about a backup quarterback or a backup tight end is not worth my time if I'm running an NFL team. It's just not. And people hated the comparison, and I'm giving the comparison now. I just would say in this case, I guess if you want to go all high school on us, and that's what Urban Meyer is doing, and it's kind of silly, and I don't know it's going to play all that well with with the teammates. They don't care. Trust me, in football, you know what they care about? Do you deliver the goods? Yes or no? That's what guys care about. It's work. It's work. It's not JV football. Okay, it's work. You go there to make a living, to play the game, and what you care about is the guy in the locker next to you, whatever he looks like, wherever he's from. He works hard to deliver the goods to. Period. End of story. No coach is going to take me over a hill or a mountain. We're going to work. So it is high schoolish that Urban Meyer would bring him back. I think the issue has died down. I think the circus has slightly died down until he gets cut. Then, it's going to be boring, in my opinion, until he gets cut. Then the real measurement is going to be, all right, take Colin Kaepernick out of this. He's not good enough to matter, and he got paid off to stay away. But the real mystery with Tebow is not what's going to happen over the next few weeks. I find it's kind of an interesting football story. You can take this guy and morph him into a different kind of player. Does it work? Maybe, probably not. But when he gets cut, then does the hijacking start all over again. Then does XYZ Southern politician start saying, see, they cut him because of his beliefs. They're going, will he be the poster child of us against them all over again? When he gets cut, and I'm assuming that he does, if and when he gets cut, when he loses his job, will he be hijacked? Not even by the fans. I don't think the fantasy football dork of today or the gambling dork of today or even the football fan of today really cares. But the politicians will hijack him because it serves their purpose very well, and that is a culture war. And that's not Tim Tebow's fault. When he gets cut and he's hijacked again, it won't be his fault.
From the Hot Pie Media Studios, JeffWardShow.com.